Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Like Aleph, Vayigash. Basically, we're going to discuss something very interesting. Now we're going to go straight into a lesson in Hayron of Hashem. We're going to discuss how Yehuda had the guts, maybe a little crazy, speak to Yosef, and the results. Let's see. Okay, Al Pasuk on the Pasuk. Vayigash of Yehuda, and Yehuda approached him. Tamar Zal, the rabbi say, comes in the Medrash. We say that when Yehuda approaches Yosef, Yosef has one of his brothers, and Yehuda's like in jail, and so Yehuda's coming and saying, "Hey, listen, we need to take the kid home. Well, we can't. This is not happening." So it says Yehuda, when he approaches Yosef, Yosef, the most powerful man in Mitzrayim, basically on the Pari, and Yehuda says, and Yehuda, it's the Medrash says that Yehuda was ready to do everything, even to wage war. Now we're going to discuss what does it mean, what was he thinking, and how is that even possible, and what does that lesson mean for us? So, why do Yehuda put himself in such a dangerous situation? The Mamshach Kasu, the pasuk continues, says, why? Ki avdecha arev. He says to Yehuda, he says to Yosef, because I am the guarantor for my son, my brother, for the child, the Nar. So basically what happened was, Yaakov didn't want to send any more kids. Basically they said, we can only go back and get food. The brothers came back to their father, Yaakov, and said, we can only come back to Mitzrayim if we bring our youngest son and Yehuda's brother. Yosef's brother. And Yaakov doesn't want to do it. It's a bad idea. And so Yehuda says, I'll take a price for this. Sends off. They don't have a choice, and they send him. So now they're coming to this situation, and there's a problem here. So why did Yehuda put himself in such a situation? Because he's in charge. Because ultimately, Yosef, then basically the kid's in jail, and so Yehuda comes to Yosef and say, "Hey, this kid has to come out. We can't do this. We're not doing it this way." And that's why he was ready to even to the extent of waging war. Now, Yehuda, how's he going to wage war with Yosef exactly? When Yehuda and his brothers are a very small amount of people, but Yosef Yosef is the ruler of all of Egypt. Yosef has control of all of Egypt. Yehuda and a few of his brothers, they don't stand a chance against Yosef. So what is Yehuda coming to say? I'm ready to wage war. I'll do whatever it takes. I can go fight you. I'm saying, where's the logic? You're not going to win this war. You have no chance. What's the point? Now you could say, what do you mean? But Yehuda was a very strong guy. We know, like it says, but even though Yehuda was very strong, Yosef and his sons are even stronger, like it says in the Medrash. Yehuda, Raka, Raglav, Yehuda, he banged his foot, and the whole Mitzrayim shook. Gila Gam Yosef because Yosef also revealed his strength. And Yehuda said, "This guy is stronger than me." So now, even according to the Medrash, that we see how Yehuda was very strong, but Yosef was even stronger than Yehuda, and Yehuda admits this. So if so, why is Yehuda willing to wage war with Yosef? It's a victory. He's not going. There's no victory. He's sure not going to win. What's the point? So what's the reason why Yehuda did this? Biglal ha'uvda Yehuda natal al shichmai es ha'achrayus leitzig es binyamin lifnei Yaakov. Because in front of Yaakov, he said, "Ki avdecha erev ana." He said, "I'll take care of Binyamin." That's what Yehuda said to Yaakov, and now he's in charge. He has to take care of Binyamin. The fact that he took it on himself to do this, That's enough. Now you could say, what do you mean? But it's not worth it. You're going to die in the process. We have so many good brothers, we're all good. So one guy will lose. Whatever. It's not the worst thing. Mispa nafsho is avu kol echad mimisol. Yeah. Achtana gaf beglal avu Hare limroy shishar echad mishar mechayim shleimim and mispa nafsho is avu yel echad mimisol mishum shenata al atzma mechayas. But because it's one yid, it's one Jewish child, we're willing to give up everything. That's the story. This is the context of the story. Now there's going to discuss what does it mean for us. Just to clarify the story again, that Yehuda comes, he starts to speak to Yosef, and it says in the Medrash, it says in Razal that Yehuda is willing to do whatever it takes, even to wage war. Now the question is, why would Yehuda try to wage war with Yosef? He doesn't have a chance of winning that war. Even though you said Yehuda is very strong in the Medrash, but it says Yosef is even stronger to the extent that Yehuda said, Yosef is stronger than me. So what Yehuda thinking? So what's this for? Yehuda took charge over his Binyamin, and he's like, listen, I'm in charge of Binyamin. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You could say, yeah, what do you mean? But there's so many Jewish kids. The rest of the kids, everyone's good. Just one guy. So one kid Chas v'shalom to say, but you could say, so one kid in the family is not so, okay, leave him. Okay, so we lose one. Or you could say in a community, this is a very, in a community. So these kids aren't so good, so kick him out. Who cares? Why should the community look bad? The rest of us are good. So who cares about that one kid, 2 kids, 3 kids? They can just chuck him. We can let them, whatever happens, doesn't matter. But at least the rest of us are good. So what's the lesson for us? What's the answer to this question? This is the lesson for every parent, every father and mother. This is the action we've got to realize. Hashem gave us the achrayus, the responsibility of every single one of our children. We have to give ourselves over with mysterious nefesh, totally give ourselves over. Even for one child. That nothing that shouldn't happen to a Jewish child should happen. We have to put ourselves over, and it's not always so easy. So watch this movie or do this thing, but we have to give ourselves over. So that doesn't happen. So that we have to serious nefesh. Having serious nefesh to raise up children with a chinuch, with an education of kedusha and tara, on Taras HaKodesh, meaning in a pure way. It's a whole different discussion we should have. Magim, we can finish off like it says in the parasha. It became spread out and very, very wealthy and very, very good. Basically, what they were saying is that we have to have Mesiras Nefesh for Chinuch, Taras HaKodesh, Mesiras Nefesh for our children. And should have a proper Jewish education, proper healthy education, and whatever it is. It doesn't apply to just education, it applies to anything in a child's life, what's best for them in regards to their connection with Hashem. And we have to do whatever it takes. And sometimes it's hard situations. Sometimes it's, it could be, it's like Rahela said, there was a guy that he came to him and he said his son wants to play baseball and he wants to join a monocox league, and he didn't want to, he felt it was not good. And he asked him a few questions about the son's situation, and he said, no, he should, it's better for him to go. And that's Mesiras Nefesh, because the guy didn't want to do it. And he could have said, no, it has to stay in the system and I have to keep him in this little box. And he said in the end, he came every Yom Kippur and the guy called him, the guy said, that was the best thing I did for my son. Thank you so much. Because the son now has a new desire to daven and learn. Mesiras Nefesh for your child's education and for your child's upbringing, that nothing bad should happen to them. It's not that your child couldn't become the perfect child the way I think they should be, but the way they should be for themselves. And it's having that commitment, and it's not easy. It's not always easy, and every child comes with its challenges and when it's things you have to deal with. And if we give ourselves totally over, then we can have, like it says in the end of the parasha, the success and become very successful. Your child be very happy and successful and wholesome. There's nothing better than a child having a wholesome upbringing and family. He feels loved, he feels cared for, And even when it comes to serious stuff like Yehuda, this is what we learned from the story of Yehuda. Yehuda is willing to give himself over, even though he's not going to be successful. He doesn't think there's no practical way that he can be successful, but he gives himself over. You could say it's like in times of Russia, that Chassidim took their kids to underground yeshivas, they could learn, and a lot of the Rabbanim that we have today came and learned in these underground yeshivas. And this is what we're talking about. So this is the first lesson. To Allah what we're praying about. But yeah, next point. We have some time. Let's go. Next point. Okay. Ois Gimel. Allah pasuk on the pasuk. Ves Yehuda Shalach. The game is on the Goshna. So when finally, the end of the parsha, when Yaakov finds out that Yosef is still alive, is all excited, he sends Yehuda to build a place to learn Torah before he comes. And Yaakov says the 17 years of his life were the best 17 years. What happens on his way before he gets there? He sends Yehuda to make a place, a base medrash, place to learn. And this is not a good lesson. It started Rashi brings down from the medrash. Lasakin is live by base Talmud. Shemisham Tetzayra. He made a place of learning, and then they could learn and have a they could learn how to keep Torah mitzvahs. When Hashem commanded Yaakov to go to Mitzrayim, Yaakov was worried because the fun of he worried to make sure there's yeshiva first. Even Hashem said, "I'm going to be with you. I'm going to escort you. We'll be good." I'm going to go down with you. Hashem says, and I'll also come out with you. Nevertheless, he started Yaakov lifnei yeshivas. He prepared. He organized himself to make yeshiva for him. And only then he went to Mitzrayim with Hashem. Because the yeshiva is the foundation of the Jewish people. And I think this is a very fundamental point. Yeshiva, the purpose of yeshiva is not to gather information. It's a very important understanding. When the Frierdiker Rebbe, when he came to America and those Chassidim and the Techetzimim and Bachim were running during the Second World War, he always pushed they should try to learn. Should always constantly have a place to learn. They went to Shanghai and they opened up the yeshiva branch, and I thought about it for a little bit. It's so interesting. It's not like go learn a Masechta. It's not like they're trying to cover ground, trying to gain some like a specific amount of knowledge. Hey, I learned this amount, that amount. It was that we're learning. We're learning the Torah. We're going the ways of Chassidus, and they learned and learn Chassidus. It's not like, when I was in yeshiva, it's sort of like this idea that you think it's like books. Chassidus is like books. You want to go through the books and finish all these books. But the point was to be learning. The yeshiva is the foundation of Judaism. That's what Judaism is alive today. It's because of yeshivas. It's not the yeshiva. It's because you learn a lot of Torah, which you do, but meaning quantity. It's about quality. It's about you'll be learning this idea, and you'll spend a year learning 1-2 ideas, listening Gemara, and you'll learn and delve it in depth. Because you're learning Hashem's Torah. And this is sort of the yeshiva we're talking about. We're not talking about just learning yeshiva. So you go to college and you study to be a mathematician. You go to yeshiva to get a diploma. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about yeshiva is that it's the foundation of Torah and Yiddishkeit, and it's meant to shape the child that goes to the yeshiva and meets Hashem in the proper path, that he's hanacha, the way he looks at the world and the way he interacts with the world and the way he lives his life is in a specific, special way. And he's Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem and his Kabbalah and all these things, all these fundamental things, that's what we're meant to be getting in the yeshiva. And that's sort of the idea. And that's what we're saying. That even Yaakov, even though he's going with Hashem and Hashem is promising, I'm going to be with you, we're going to take care of it, he still makes yeshiva. Yeshiva is the foundation of everything. It's like I was reading my son a nighttime book yesterday about the Gemara. It's actually a very nice book. And it says, and it teaches about like the how the Gemara formulated and how halacha comes about and stuff. And one of the things it says over there, when the printing press came, so they started printing like 44 years after the printing press was first established in 1440. Then 1484, they started printing Gemara. They got like 16 Masechtas, and then they stopped, weren't able to finish. And it was like a whole big chiddush. Now you can have so much more printing. And so basically the Christian priests, they understood that learning Gemara is what keeps Judaism alive. and so destroying those, and it bothered them. So they try to keep them destroying it. So what do people didn't just learn? They learned in yeshivas, and essentially what they were saying is that throughout the history, trying to print the Gemara, a lot of struggles, a lot of times the Gemara being burnt and things like this, because of the fact that the Gemara is they saw, they recognize the Gemara is the source for the continuity of the Jewish people, and that's what they're saying. The yeshivas what keeps the Jewish people going, even though Hashem can be with you. You need yeshivas, and so the yeshiva is not just the idea of a yeshiva. We're going to talk about it. It's also about how we're sending our kids to the yeshivas. Let's see. I guess we'll stop here and we'll continue tomorrow. So, Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow to be continued. Have a great day, and we should the lesson we have to think about from today's class in regards to Yehuda, the Mesiras Nefesh that he had, and Mesiras Nefesh could be standing up to the school and saying, "Hey, why are we teaching these things? This is not a proper thing to be taught for the Jewish kids, or making sure your kid has a proper Jewish education." You know what I mean? And so many levels to think about it, but it's asking ourselves: are we choosing the easy way out, or having the Mesiras Nefesh? Even though it could be something that's not going to be even practically done, I'm still speaking up about it. Anyway, to have an amazing day, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.